Driveline R&D podcast, episode 84.
That was good. I think you need more.
I didn't Caravan.
Stay with your chest.
Yeah.
Driveline R&D podcast,
There we
episode
go.
84. Unfortunately, without Caravan again this week. My name's Kyle Lindley, Pulse product manager, drinking a Bud Light Lime. Shocker.
And I'm Anthony Brady, director of sports science, Driveline baseball. Also drinking a Bud Light Lime. Also primary host, Driveline R&D, Research and Drinks podcast, episode, 84?
84.
Episode 84, today, live on all the platforms. By the way, anyone who listens on Spotify, we've been doing this thing. We're trying to upload the video there. So if you're listening on Spotify right now, if you look at your phone, I think you'll be able to see the video of us if you want to see our faces.
We're also adding polls. There's a poll, like a listener interaction dealio on Spotify.
Doing some poll stuff. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts and you want to see the video, it's on YouTube. Check out the YouTube channel, Driveline R&D podcast. Again, though, no Caravan today. So if you don't want to see the video, totally understandable. Hopefully we have Caravan back next week. I know I said that last week, but whatever. We have two guests today. So we are joined by two people in the hitting department. Go ahead, introduce yourselves.
Andrew Aydt, hitting coordinator here, and I'm also drinking a lime, so high lime content today.
Hi, long-time listener, first-time caller. Tanner Stokey, I'm the director of hitting here, and I'm also drinking a Bud Light Lime.
Let's go,
Am I good to
baby.
open this now?
Director of the Bazooka Factory.
Director of Bazooka Factory.
Can't believe it took
This
84
is mine.
epists to get us on here.
I know, it's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
I was teased with it like 2 years ago on like episode like 3 or 4. Just saying.
Dude, you know what I was even thinking? Actually, we should just start just not numbering the episodes at this point.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Why?
Yeah.
Because I was explaining it to Lindley today, how I think there are like podcasts that are like, there's obviously a ton of genres or things, but if I tried to split it into like two types of podcasts, there's just like shows, which are just like consistent, weekly, happening pretty often, that are like more talk showy type thing. And then there are like podcast series where they are like, maybe a little bit better produced, have like higher value content kind of stuff.
I think
and
that
more,
puts us in the second category, bro.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm just saying that I think we're more in like, at this point, we're a lot closer to like the, pardon my take-esque, like, more talk showy type things where it's just like, it's a show.
Just
kind
number
of
it
a
Up
thing.
here chopping it up,
Yeah. As opposed to it being like, this is, number 83. And on this episode, we're going to be breaking down, this, and this. I think we do kind of fall into the middle of that.
I think it's so
but-
vibe. We could just like number the episodes if you're looking for a specific one, but not talk
I mean,
about
at
it.
this point, you got to keep going at least until you get to 100.
Oh, for sure.
You already set a standard.
For sure.
Hit
Yeah.
triple digits for sure.
Oh, I mean, 100 is
We're not rounding up.
That's the minimum. We're, we're taking this shit way further than that.
We have some stuff to talk about what's gonna happen with Arizona, dude.
Out of sight, out of mind. I don't like to. I don't even want to think about it. So you know what? We'll just
Yeah.
when that river crosses, we'll figure out how to.
I know this is my
move
first time
forward.
on, but I could step in as a host.
Yeah. Dude,
I mean, at this point, all the guest episodes are auditions. So far, Langen's.
Oh, so it's totally
Hot
just kicking
takes?
me off.
When was Langen on here? Was that pre or post Sunburn?
We've had definitely pre. We've had two Langens.
Did
We've
he
had,
just recently get sunburnt?
he's got some color.
roasted, man.
He's got some color.
Damn, I'm colorblind.
He said he put the sunscreen on, jumped in the water, like immediately
Right
after-
away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
30-minute period. You
Good
gotta
for him.
let that settle.
Yeah, you can't eat either.
Yeah, Jesus. No, he's been on twice. Well, although we have recorded 3 podcasts. Well, fuck, we've done 3 podcasts with him, but we've only recorded 2. The first time we brought him on,
You weren't recording?
I said we there, but it was me. I didn't hit the record button, so we just talked for an hour and a half straight. Me, Langen, and Lindley, and there was nothing to show for it.
So
And
just
then we
ran it
had
back.
all hands. And after all hands, went and tried to find it, and then realized, oh shit,
Oh shit, we don't have
we don't have anything. Hey, are you down to run it back right now? And that's
Lang,
what we
you're
did.
gonna have to come back on and talk about the regression to
Was
the
the
mean.
was the second take better or worse?
I think they were both great in their own right. Like
How many goddams?
this is a good amount
I don't know.
in
dude.
both.
I don't know if I don't remember any goddamn.
They were both fire.
They
like,
were both. They were both good though.
Dude,
The first
Langan
one,
can just go.
yeah.
You just
He's
know,
definitely a candidate for a replacement host.
yeah.
That'd be great. Have you ever heard Langan like commentate like a baseball game?
Oh yeah.
He's done
No.
live ABs all the time.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
It's
it's
hilarious.
electric. I just always hear him in the videos.
Play-by-play guy.
Nice.
He's electric.
Dude, he is a great
nice.
person to watch a sporting event with, for
Yep.
sure.
Mhm.
Just like, you know, these. I mean, I feel like you've done that before.
Where's he at? Let's get him
Super
in.
Bowl.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's make it a 5-person.
Anyways, what's good?
Yeah, where do we start? I mean, anytime we have new guests on, we usually start with just like, you know, bios, background, how you got here, how you came across Driveline. So pretty open ended, but honestly, I mean, like, this is your chance. Tell your story. You know.
Oh, this is actually good though because both of these guys were in that crazy 2017. Well, Andrew was a trainee, but the 2017 intern class.
Oh
and
yeah,
that,
that's
just
right.
that group of people in the gym.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyways, I want to take your thunder.
Yeah, I'll start.
I think mine's gonna be a little longer.
Yeah, wanna go again?
Yeah.
Yeah, so going into my junior summer is when I decided to make the trek out here for the first time as a hitter.
That was 2017.
Yeah. Yep.
Great year.
Great year.
Oh,
Great year.
hell of a summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking back, I'm still like surprised I did it. Like Driveline had no reputation for hitting at the time, really.
It was brand new.
The program had just started like the year before.
That was
Mhm.
That was the first summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that winter right before that was when hitting first started.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and so like I had one or two pitchers on my team, I think, that was doing it, and it just kind of like sparked my interest, made my arm a little bit better at the time. When I would just like long toss and stuff with them on the side.
Yeah.
Started researching it. Decided to not play summer ball. Luckily, my coach at the time was cool with that. I kind of like pitched the idea to him coming out here, and he was like all for it. Came out.
It's so
Spent the
unique
whole
from
summer.
from a college coach
Oh
5-6 years ago.
yeah. It's wild to think
Oh,
about like
what?
if he had
Yeah.
said no or like wasn't cool with it.
So even today, like it's like, oh, you're gonna go play summer ball.
Yeah.
For sure, no
Get
question.
reps.
Yeah, because that was after my first season at my D2 at the time too. So it was basically like I played 1 year for him. Like we have just gone with whatever he said. Like when I pitched to him, if he said no, I already had summer team lined up.
Yeah.
Everything. I was like in the Midwest Prospect League lined up, and so I would have just played that, and probably wouldn't be sitting here today. But came out.
Goddamn.
That was when you interned, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So it was you, Gordo, and Jason were the hitting department.
Yep.
Training that summer completely changed me as a player. Like the year that sophomore year, I think I hit 1 home run or like in like 4 or 5 doubles.
hmm
And then the next year I hit, I think 10 home runs, like 15 doubles, hit 320 or something like that.
Oops.
Yeah. Oops.
Oops.
Um,
He,
And
he
then-
was like the first instance of hitting plyos fixing somebody's bat path,
yeah.
Oh,
like
really?
truly changing their lives.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I had like either like a flat or a negative attack angle.
It was very negative.
Definitely like average or below average bat speed.
That was before we were even using Blast.
Yeah, it
Like,
wasn't
we
a
were
thing.
just hit tracks and bat speed trainers. See how hard you can snap hook
Yeah,
on
yeah.
both side.
Yeah.
The
front toss.
OG penny bat and wood long bats.
Yeah, people forget about the penny bat.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Oh my god, the
Yeah.
original bazooka bat.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yes, we had a day called Aydt Day. It was just like step backs to keep me from like drifting forward. So I would just
get
like
into your back hip.
yeah, I would just like fall forward and drift forward, and then from there just like push and just like
Straight
be like
down.
straight downhill, negative attack angle. You know,
Yeah.
try to hit back, just
Yeah,
like
I
blind
need to
drive back of the
backspin it.
cage. You
Too
know,
much
backspin.
Oh wow.
So there's like step backs, softball toss plyos. So it's coming in like way too much like a steep descent angle. I'd try to match it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then most of the time was just like I was so negative then, and like hitting low line drives or ground balls, just like trying to hit the ball as hard as I could, far as I could off the machine.
Mhm.
That put me like in a good like middle spot and
Yeah.
and basically changed everything. But the reason it led to me coming back summer 18 because according to Jason, I asked great questions.
Nice.
So from asking great
Do you remember
questions,
any of those questions?
no,
Yeah.
from asking great questions and just I guess always wanting to learn more. I got
That's a
offered the
dangerous
internship.
precedent to set on the pod because now if you have athletes that are listening to this, you just started this like, oh, I mean,
Yeah, I'm just start
You know?
grilling you. with
yeah,
questions
I'm just
every
gonna start,
time I see
just
you.
dingusing all the trainers right now,
Yeah.
asking a million questions.
Yeah. Well, that's another like wild thing to think about is like if I had been younger, if I trained here today, like I wouldn't get the job that I did.
Mhm.
Like
Because it
we-
wasn't as intimate, or because
yeah,
it's
like,
not as
our
intimate as
department's
it
just
was back then?
grown
Definitely
so
some
much. Like we just don't hire athletes anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got offered that internship from asking great questions as an athlete and wanting to learn more. Turned into came back, interned for the 3 months that summer, then got offered full time for whenever I was done with school. And so at the time, I wasn't really that interested in coaching.
This was so now we're in summer 2018.
Yeah, he
Mhm.
came back 2018
Yep.
intern.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so went through the full college summer with 4-3 and 2-4, just like those two small cages with way too many hitters.
Yeah, he was like a full-time trainee, did lifting, hitting, throwing, and just like worked on the floor 12 hours a day.
That's
Yeah.
an
5 days a
insane
week.
summer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
didn't take a car or didn't bring a car down,
Yeah,
so I
he
was
drove
driving him
around.
everywhere. We'd have to stay. Well, hitting would get done at like 1 a.m. We'd be in the facility till like 3 because he had to lift, and we'd jump
Yeah,
in the box on the
I
way
remember
home.
those hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah. But we did defense at like 11 a.m. We go
11 straight to the floor for live at bats.
Yep.
Nonstop chaos, hitting floor until like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning.
Mhm.
And
you
then I
had to
get my
lift.
lift.
Then we had to eat, and then like if we were feeling a little froggy, we'd get home and watch Game of Thrones with Ochi.
Nice. Nice.
But yeah, so then at the time wasn't until I interned, I wasn't really interested in coaching. I was kind of the player of like my last game is like kind of when I finished baseball. But interning here kind of changed that for me. But then at that point I was finishing my econ finance degree, and then I was in my MBA. I'd started my MBA at that point. Went back, finished that, and then decided to come back full time after that. So
Let's go, baby.
Goddamn right, baby. Goddamn. So you've been full time since. So that was like
got back
end of
at,
2018.
A couple weeks before COVID hit.
Yeah, I was back for
Is when he
not
got
even a
here.
month, and then COVID struck.
COVID hit, and we were
Oh.
quarantined in the house
Yeah.
right after we moved here.
He was dragging his tail a little bit getting back here. We
I
were
was.
wearing him out about
Yeah.
getting back
Taking
here once he
your time.
graduated.
Yeah. Well, like looking back, should not have been a tough decision, but at the time it was tough because I just spent 5.5 years or whatever getting econ finance degree and an MBA. So I was like, I need to use that. Like I should probably go into the business world or whatever.
Mhm.
So I drug my feet a little while deciding what to do, and lived at home for like 6 months and worked a few different jobs, baseball and business, and saved up a bunch of money. And then finally it's like, yeah, I don't want to be in the business world. I want to coach.
Wow.
I'm coming back.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Goddamn. Fuck.
You're up, dude.
I'm up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, long story
us the
short, I'm here because of a rain delay fungo golf game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So back in it had to be 2016. So I played at Arizona Christian
ACU. Yeah.
with Coach Dean Jackson.
Coach.
Coach Dean Jackson. So like ultimately Dean is the reason I ended up coming up here to kick it with Ochart for a couple days.
Yeah.
Winter 2016. So that season, I graduated 2015, started coaching in 2016 at ACU. That was the first year that Menlo had come into our conference in the GSAC. And that was just when Ochart was posting his dudes just hitting tanks left and right. You just see Dudo just top spinning home runs.
Yeah. Yeah.
All over YouTube.
Mammoing balls.
Yeah, exactly. So like we go to play these guys and it's like, okay, like they're gonna kick the shit out of us.
Yeah.
Because we weren't good. So what ended up happening was my first year coaching, quote unquote. I was finishing school, so basically just helping. Right. I was just there. Like a grad assistant without actually being a grad assistant.
Were you working at Old Navy yet?
I was still working with Navy.
Nice.
Yeah, folding shirts,
Little
baby.
retail action.
Exactly.
On the
Folding
side.
shirts, slinging Old Navy credit cards.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
That's why you dress so well. That makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah, right. So yeah, what had happened was we were getting ready to travel to Menlo. So like NAIA school, like budgets are obviously terrible. Took buses everywhere. Menlo was like a 12, 13-hour drive. So we're like, all right, this is going to be the one trip we're finally going to fly. I wasn't a real coach, so and I still feel kind of bad about this, but I don't feel bad about it. I wasn't an actual coach, but like I was helping hitters.
Yeah.
I could hit a fungo, I could throw BP, do all that cool stuff. The head coach liked me. So like me not being a real coach, not being on the roster, obviously I wasn't supposed to travel on this trip. The day before, I talked our coach out of traveling a pitcher to traveling instead.
What a salesman.
Yeah. I talked straight out of it. I was like, okay, this freshman kid.
He's not
like,
going to throw.
Is he going to throw? He's like,
And if he
no,
does, it's going to be embarrassing.
There's a JV game like yesterday.
Yeah.
Like,
You don't want to ruin his confidence, too.
Yeah, it might rain. Like you're wasting. You should take me for sure. And he
This
was
is
like,
the moment that the soup started.
Yeah.
yeah. That's when I
Ever
became a
since.
schmoozer right then and there.
He has like 7 tests next week. He's got to, like, he's way too busy.
Have you seen this kid's grades?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I talked him out of traveling him to travel me. We got to Menlo and it was just pissing rain. So like we got there and we just obviously weren't going to play. Dean was supposed to be on the mound. Dean didn't travel with any of his weighted balls or his giant ass trampoline because he couldn't fly with any of it.
That was before the mini trampolines were a thing.
Yeah, he
And
knew
so
some of
was
the
going
Menlo
with-
guys were in on Driveline stuff. So he like walked over to their shed next to where their cages are. And he's like, can I throw your weighted balls? And for whatever reason, they said yes. I didn't understand it.
Nice guy.
But yeah, we ended up getting rained out. I don't remember if the game started. Actually, no, the game did start. Ashkan Kalualua was like 35 years old.
Oh yeah, I
Just
remember that.
carving,
Legend.
pumping 96 in behind. And they were just hitting tanks. We got rain delay in the middle of the game. They brought the tarps out, and they just sent out one of their guys to do a fungal golf game. And they're like, all right, send your best dude. So I went out there, and I could have told you the guy's name that I played it against too until right now. But yeah, went out there, ended up doing this fungal golf rain delay game. And since Ochart was filming everything at that point in time, he obviously filmed it. It went sort of viral on Twitter, the video. Just like a bunch of random baseball accounts retweeted it. A bunch of random golf accounts started retweeting it.
Yeah.
So like it just got to the point where like Och and I knew each other through that. And like we'd see it pop up somewhere for the next few weeks and just DM'd it to each other. And that was back when Dean was like training at Driveline, right? And then so like after that season, in our fall, we were just taking BP, and Dean walked up to me behind the turtle one day. He's like, "Hey, you remember the Jason Ochart guy from Menlo?" I was like, "Yeah, of course." He's like, "Well, he's the hitting guy at Driveline now. Like they're trying to do hitting. Like you should like go up and talk to him about hitting."
Yeah.
And I was like, why?
Yeah.
He was like, I don't know. Like you seem to like care about hitting and getting guys better. You want to go check it out? I'm like, yeah, I'm down. He's like, I'll talk to him to see if he's cool with it. So Och was obviously cool with it. And then I flew up the day after Christmas at like 6 a.m. December 26, 2016. I stayed for like 2 nights. One night, 2 nights. I don't even remember. I was staying with Dean in a Flama house on the couch. But yeah, just like hung out while Ochart was flipping to Ryan Rodriguez. He was like the only guy in town. And Nick Rose. Nick Rose is actually. College Rose.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that's how I met Ochart, and he was like, "Hey, we're gonna need an intern in the summer if that's like something you're interested in." And I was like, "Hell yeah, that'd be really cool." And then like 2 weeks later, Ochart is just a great communicator.
Yeah.
So like 2 weeks later, I like followed up. I was like, "Hey, is this gonna be a thing?" He's like, "Yeah, like I'll let you know." And just like the next like week after week after week, never heard from him.
Yeah.
And it was finally got to the point like probably halfway through our spring season where Och was just like, all right, I'm going to have another one of our hitting guys call you and interview you. And it was Gordo.
Yeah.
So it's like, cool. When's this going to happen? He's like, all right, I'm going to have him call you tonight. So like I immediately called out of my shift at Old Navy. Like, hey, I'm not feeling well.
I got to be ready.
Like, I'm just like nervous, like working myself up for this because Och hadn't replied to me in 6 months. Didn't get a call. Nothing. Just crickets. So the next day, went to my shift in the morning the next day.
Yeah.
Went to practice. Texted Och during practice. I'm like, is this happening?
What's good?
He's like, yeah. Nothing. So like the next day, I was like, all right, I'm getting kind of mad.
Yeah.
So I hit him up again. I'm like, what the hell? Like, should I be expecting this phone call? And he's like, yeah, 100% tonight. So I called out of my shift again that night. Actually got a call from Gordo. It was no more than like 2.5 minutes on the phone. It was, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
It's like no more than 2 or 3 minutes on the phone. And it was basically Gordo just like, what's up, man? Like, what are you, so you're a hitting coach?
What's your deal?
Like, what, yeah, what's
What
your
do you
deal?
do?
Yeah,
What
he's
do you
like,
do?
what do you believe in?
Yeah.
And I was like, I just like, guys should
Backside ground ball.
hit the ball hard in the air, I guess. I don't know.
That's all I need to hear.
And Gordo was like, tight. Yeah, it's good. Cool. Well, yeah, I guess we'll be in touch. Like, that was basically the
Oh, my
interview.
God.
And I'm just like sitting in my room, fucking rattled. Like, what even is this? So yeah, I got off the phone with him, and Dean texted me a few minutes later, and he was like, oh, yeah, dude, I talked to Ochard. He said, like, you crushed the interview. It's like, what the hell is
Yeah.
happening? So, like, come to find out, a couple months later, after, like, not hearing back from Ochard again, if I got the job, come to find out that the whole time it was my job. Like, even when I came to visit him,
Oh,
like
yeah.
in that winter, the day after Christmas, he's like, oh, yeah, I knew I wanted to hire you right there. It's just like, to be honest, I just forgot to tell Gordo to call you those couple days. So like Max had no idea this was happening. He's like, hey, like after like the third time I hit him up,
Yeah.
he's like, hey, I need you to call this guy. He's like, why?
Yeah.
He's, I just need to interview him. He's like, okay. But yeah, so I ended up here because of a rain delay fungo golf game.
Oh my
Technically because of Dean.
In a very intensive interview.
In a very intensive
God. Comprehensive.
yeah.
You got to see a little sneak peek of Driveline's very rigorous and robust communication structure. Very good.
And
Very
here we
good.
are on the
Yeah.
R&D podcast.
Goddamn.
86 episodes later.
84, bro.
episodes
Come on,
later.
have some
I told you guys
respect.
we shouldn't be keeping track.
Couple years later. Damn. Yeah, so you went from you just went from interning straight to full time after 2017.
I came summer 2017 and I went back to ACU.
Right,
I went
yeah.
back to ACU to coach again. For whatever reason, playing there, coaching there, I just thought like I was eventually going to build this powerhouse program and
Goddamn
eventually
right.
take over. You know,
Yep.
I was overly loyal. Roll Storm.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are out there listening. You're
Yep.
probably not.
Devin Rose might be.
Yeah, Devin Rose is listening.
Yeah.
What's up, Rosie?
Yeah.
So yeah, I went back and coached that year. Things went really well. Like from when I left, like Ochar was like, "Hey, I want you to like come on full time."
Mhm.
It's like, I want to go back and coach. Like, I'm definitely coming back next summer to intern again. I want to do the same exact thing. He's like, that's perfect. And then obviously stayed in touch with everybody. And then Bodie and Och were in town. I think it was during spring training. That next spring training in 2018.
Yeah.
We were at Cobra Arcade Bar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we were closing down Cobra one night on like a Tuesday, and I had to be at Old Navy at like 7 a.m. the next day. We're like standing out in the parking lot shooting the shit. I'm like, I got, my shift starts in like 4.5 hours. Like I gotta go. And they're like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
It's like, why don't you just come work at Driveline full
Yeah.
time? And I was like, man, I don't know. So I'm driving home after that at like 3 a.m. It's like, what the fuck am I doing?
He's got a good point.
This is a really good point.
He's got a good point.
So yeah, the next day I hit them up and I was like, yeah, I'm in. I'm in full time. And this was like,
2018 summer.
yeah, it was probably 3 weeks before I was supposed to come up here to intern.
Yeah.
And like I waited another 12 days to tell my mom I wasn't coming back after the summer,
Yeah.
So it's like, she was like, oh yeah, like you're going to, like you're leaving in a week. Like, do you know when you're coming back? And I was like,
Yeah.
to be honest, Mom, I accepted a full-time job.
Yeah.
She's like, what are you talking about?
And it's in Seattle.
Yeah, in Seattle. I'm never coming back.
Yeah.
She was like, but you're supposed to go to physical therapy school.
Yeah.
You're going to go work at a batting cage?
Yeah.
So that's exactly right,
Yeah.
Mom. I'm going to go work at this batting cage in Seattle.
That's so funny.
It's just
good.
your
Hearing it
local
described as a batting
balls
cage.
and strikes or D-bat. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Dude, I just because I was back home last weekend and I was talking to some some buddies that I hadn't like talked to in a while, like some of them not since high school, like they stayed in touch somewhat and kept tabs, and like one of them, when I was talking to him, we were like, yeah, what are you up to now? Oh, cool. And he was like, yeah, what are you doing? You still doing that thing, like working with like kids and baseball players and stuff, and,
Yeah.
like doing some like pitching training stuff, and I was like,
Yeah, something like that.
I was like,
biomechanist.
let's call it that. Yeah.
That's the thing about
Like,
this
it's not
place. It's
worth
like,
correcting
it's
it.
so fucking hard to explain what this
Yeah,
place is to
yeah.
anybody who doesn't actually know.
Yeah, I just don't
Yeah.
try.
It took like 3 years of my mom asking me about it to like start to understand. It's like, hey, like I'm working with a major league hitter every single
Yeah.
day this
Yeah.
off season. She's like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I was like, no, like I'm this guy's hitting coach every day.
Yeah. You see that guy on ESPN, like he's
And then like he had a really good year the next year,
He
and
did
she's
good
like,
stuff.
oh, wait, you did what with this guy? I was like, I literally hit with this guy every single day.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
like, what?
No, it's
still
so
doesn't
hard to
understand.
explain. Yeah, yeah.
The only way that people seem to resonate from when I explain it is like, oh, like Moneyball.
Yeah,
You guys are
100%.
doing
That's,
Moneyball.
that's the easiest out.
Like
Something
I
like
guess
that.
so.
Yeah.
So-
I've tried to like define the roles better because like the intro word is tough. Like I used to always just say I'm a biomechanist, and that's just like the wrong thing to say.
Mhm.
Like there's no scenario where that's the right way to approach it because they're like biology, chemistry, like what the
It's always hard. It's way
Mechanic.
harder than it should be to answer the question.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what do you do?
yeah,
Say, oh, I work at Driveline Baseball.
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean? It's like, so, I work in sports science.
yeah.
I'd
I've tried
say
to
sports
train
science or
athletes.
sports tech.
I've tried
Yeah.
sports science too, and sports science like isn't great because then it's like, oh, you coach, and it's like, well, it's a little more than
It's
that.
like, I don't have 5 minutes to explain this.
Yeah, it's like it's a baseball training facility / research lab.
Oh, so it's like you're a
you know,
coach.
it's just like,
you just like coach kids.
yeah,
Like
it's like little travel teams.
kinda.
Scope's a little larger than that
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, and then I just usually I let the conversation go somewhere else.
Exactly.
Before trying to like, okay, here's what Driveline is, and here's how we.
How much
exist.
time do you got?
Yeah,
You want to read a couple blogs?
it's a mess. It's
We need a
mess for sure.
documentary. Like, just go watch this.
Yeah, for
just
sure.
hand it to people.
Sure, it'll
Something
come
like
out eventually.
that. Yeah,
So
just make it known.
It's May. Season started. Off season's over. What's different about this off season and training than like previous ones for you guys?
Oh, I'd say that the biggest difference is just the amount of MLB guys we had this offseason. Wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, the amount of LMB guys we had in the off season, the guys were still doing like advanced support stuff in season,
Yeah.
training just as many athletes as we ever have in the gym.
I think one of the biggest differences we've talked about it a bit. Bill actually did a really good breakdown of like how the advantage plan is kind of like developed and how it really works well at the big league level. But it's so different now where a few years ago we treated the seasons as just like completely independent things and there was no overlap. It was like we have our college guys in the summer, August, September rolls around and it's like, good luck, buddy. See you in, 7 months. And then
Spend all fall doing projects, getting ready
Yep.
for the pro off season.
Yep. And then pro off season, same thing. We work with you all off season. Pro ball comes around in spring, you head off to spring season and it's same thing.
Hit us up
See
if
you later.
need anything.
Good luck. And now it's like we've started to, with the advantage and other things on both ends,
Yep.
it's like we've carried the overlap of we're staying in touch and working with the college guys through their season and when they're not here. And then same, probably even more so on like the big league and professional side. You
Yep.
know, it's like when they leave, they're still getting like just as much, if not even more attention in
Yeah.
probably some cases, some of those guys. So it's definitely changed quite a bit. I feel like.
Yeah, I would say we're giving just as much attention part of those guys. Like doing like advanced scouting stuff for some of those guys each day. It's like the amount of time it takes to do that to help them prep for a game. It's like you basically could have gotten like a full cage session in that amount of time, like we do in the off season.
Yeah. Staying up after the games are over.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about it is we're actually able to like have a bigger impact in season than we ever have with these guys.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was always kind of the external criticism that we've always had that I always just looked at and I was like, they got a point. You know, it's like we just for a while we just like sharpen their swords and then we send them off to battle. It's like good luck. Like hope you come out of this. If things go wrong, we'll see you next summer. Like not a word for word. That's not how it happened. But still, like I think now we do a much better job and are way more cognizant of like, okay, we're going to refine these skills, work on these just like raw assets, but then also, we're gonna make sure that they transfer over into the game and be with you along the way to kind of like help throughout that process. Because I mean, I feel like even in my experience as an athlete, sometimes like, I mean, yeah, first time I trained and then went off, it was just like completely different environment, kind of on my own kind of a thing. But and I feel like I saw so many guys out there, like, so the atypical driveline guy around colleges at that time was that it was just like dude that just threw hard, or something, just like max effort, boofed every single pitch. Didn't always have like
pretty similar on the hitting side in the early stages.
Yeah. And I think that's one of those things too, where it's like other people probably thought that we just like ignored or hid from those criticisms, but internally that's always been the thing that we have like had talked about the most, and how we kind of
find
solved
ways to fix it.
Yeah,
and we were like, crazy the development that's happened from like that first summer.
Yeah.
Where, like I said, we were just hitting on hit tracks every day. And like, let's see how hard you can hit it, because like we knew that helped.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, how you go about moving the bat fast, hitting the ball hard, like plays a big role in being a successful hitter in a game.
Yeah.
So like, it basically went from that at the start. Then we eventually started using like bat sensors. Started to understand like actually bat speed, like how the bats move for the zone. Then we started getting a little bit into like KVAS stuff, a little bit of biomechanics.
Yeah.
To the point now where we just like we train the big three skills.
Yeah.
Like how fast you can move the bat, like how good you are at making contact.
Yeah.
How consistent that is, and like what's your approach to swing decisions.
It's
we
crazy.
actually have a way to measure all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So I was gonna say there was a crazy baseball shift, like about like a lump sum of work that needed to go into that to define the three, and now it's just like we live and die by, like, trying to individualize needs by figuring out what they like can improve the most or whatever. What's their like lowest hanging fruit, right?
Yep.
I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah, it's definitely the lowest hanging fruit for them in the big three, but it's also like a little bit weighted there too, just because in the big three, bat speed's gonna have the biggest impact, and like smash factor probably the second, and then swing decisions. So it really just depends on like the time of the year, how much time we have, all these different things. Like they might have like their lowest might be like smash factor or bat to ball skills, but like they might still actually just get better by increasing bat speed a little bit more. But like I'd say we're probably the best out there at being able to train multiple things at the big three like at the same time.
At the same time.
Yeah.
We just talked about in the last podcast with Bryson and Juan about like expecting what to expect coming into summer, what most like athletes are going to need, because the pitching side of it, it's like, do they come in, do they need to gain weight, which is obviously a thing on the hitting side as well, but
lose
like
weight.
Yeah, fat camp.
Why'd you look at me?
I didn't look at you, dude, you said it.
Best shape of my life.
Remember
but like
what
what
was in Japan?
We don't need to bring that up. We can save that for a Patreon episode.
what do you guys
Shun, if you're listening, send us some churros.
yeah for real. Do you expect it to be bat speed, or like what coming into summer with an influx of athletes, like what do you think is going to be the biggest like need? Like
typically in the summer, like we're gonna be filled with college and high school guys. A lot of times it's younger guys or guys from like smaller schools.
Yeah.
Because again, like a lot of like the Power 5 guys, coaches want them to go play summer ball. It's just what everybody does. So
Makes sense too for their interests, like
Yeah.
exposure, draft stuff.
Yeah, you're a Power 5 junior who just had like a pretty good year. Like,
also their talent level, right?
Yeah,
like they're probably already like
Mm-hmm.
at a higher baseline talent level.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, so they had a pretty good year, some scouts on them, like their coach or the scouts or somebody's pushing them to say, hey, like go play 60 games in the Northwoods and like try to improve your draft stock. When like realistically, if you would just train for 2 months and gain 2 miles an hour of bat speed, you're probably just going to go into your next season and fucking rake.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're going to improve your draft stock that way.
Yeah.
And not kill yourself playing 60 games in 64 days
Yeah.
in the middle of nowhere in the Midwest. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, to answer the question, like generally in the college summer, especially since like in-game play for those guys is so far away. Like the focus is typically gaining muscle, like moving a little bit better, hitting the ball harder, moving the bat faster. And then especially with the advantage plan, as guys tend to get closer to the season, is when we start to blend more towards like bat to ball focused, more like swing decisions approach. Obviously we do a little bit of training, all of that in the gym, but like the specific focus, especially in the summer, is typically focused on moving the bat faster and like doing that efficiently, a way that's like actually going to play in the game.
Yeah. And it depends on the guy's individual goals too. You know, like if we're like in the first week during assessment in the athlete meeting or whatever, and we ask them what their goals are, and they say like it's a high school kid that just wants to hit 400 this year, doesn't care about playing in college or anything like that. It's like, okay, might have more of like a bat path, bat to ball focus here, and like
Let's get you really, really good at hitting line drives.
yeah, we're just gonna optimize like basically like your launch angle of just like hitting balls like around like 12 degrees. That's
Kind of like a
where
short term gain versus a long term type plan.
Yeah, you're junior in high school. It's like, I'm definitely not going to play in college. I got one more year and I want to enjoy it. And like, obviously getting a bunch of hits is fun.
Yeah.
Getting on base all the time is fun. So you're trying to maximize for that. But like, if you have a guy who's like committed to a school already, it's like, all right, I know I'm going to this college. Like, I obviously want to have a good year. But it's like, all right, you need to spend a little bit more time like developing strength, like hitting the ball harder, and then you can blend in the other stuff because it's a little bit easier to train some of that.
Yeah, for sure. I kind of like the because we were talking about the shift between the seasons going from like pro off season to college summer training, and I was good just because I was gone a bit last week and then went home. But even just earlier today when I was out walking along the floor, I mean, I just fuck with the energy of college summer
told
over
him the
pro
same
off
thing
season.
today.
So much more.
I ran out on the floor and then I came back in like 15 minutes later. I was like, it feels like the summer out there.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Like I love pro off season because I mean it is a little quieter. You get to work with like higher profile people, but like just the sheer just like energy and culture of like
controlled chaos.
Yeah, you get this like selection bias of all of these guys that are just like, I'm down to do anything.
You're still bought in.
Like I'm here because like this is, you know, I don't care that I just drove my 2002 Civic, you know, literally across the country to a place I have no idea.
It's got 296,000 miles on it.
I'm staying in a like 3-person
basement with 8
room.
other dudes.
Yeah,
that's what I was about to say.
Have no
dude.
idea who
Living
they
with
are,
14 other
you
guys.
know, but I'm just like, I'm showing up 2 hours early on day one because like I'm ready to go. That like that energy and culture is just like, that is as OG Driveline as I can think of.
And like that alone is the reason like this guy is here. Like you just fell in love with the culture of the place that first summer training here.
Yeah.
You just so happened to ask a couple good questions when Oakart was there.
Only a couple?
Yeah, maybe.
A handful, yeah. No, I love it out there. It's starting to pick up. And it's cool too. It's I feel like we finally have things in place this summer to where it's like last summer there was a lot of we were just behind with COVID in terms of building everything out. And now, you know, for the first time it feels like we're ready in a while at least, you know, like we've got systems and operations and structures in place to you know be able to handle it and stuff. But I mean last year you remember how at the beginning of the summer because of all the COVID restrictions, like we couldn't have most of our people working in the offices. We had like the entire R&D department just like out in the lab, dude.
About that.
Like that was
we
literally
had, like,
last summer.
stand-up desks in there where it's our hitter warm-up area now. There was desks.
Yeah, we had 14 desks in the lab.
That's right.
That's where like all the interns were just working, you know. And now it's like we can have a dedicated lab. We can have like interns. They have their own desks in like a quiet area. And
The electricians were out there freaking out.
yeah,
Like,
we weren't doing.
how are we getting power?
Yeah, we actually have the lab built. It wasn't the middle of June and July, and we were laying concrete for the mound and the course plates. Yeah, we were doing mocaps in like one of the hitting and pitching cages. You know?
Hey, we need to make sure we let all the athletes know that there's going to be a jackhammer on all day, every day this week. Open all the bay doors. It's going to be dust and shit all over the place.
And now it's just cruising. It's man, dude, I fucking love it. Fires me up. fires me up for sure. One thing I wanted to ask you guys, because you have been around, like, what do you think the just straight up biggest unlock since when you first came to now in terms of like hitting development? Like, and it could be anything, piece of tech, something that we figured out.
You put
know,
this
new-
on a T. It's just
new
gonna
system
be,
or
it's
process.
hitting biomechanics.
What?
Man.
No.
It's like you
Really?
set that
Why are you
up.
giving him the answer he wants?
It's almost like a.
I honestly,
begging for it for
I was
4
down
years.
I was hoping for a, maybe like a little like nuanced one that I hadn't heard of, but I mean,
Yeah.
hitting biomechanics, sure, dude.
That's got to be the one, man. It's gonna be a game changer.
Yeah.
Like obviously with K-Vest, we've learned a ton. Able
Yeah.
to develop hitters quickly.
Do you think then though, just like trying to factor in where we were at the time to where it kind of like elevated us to, was K-Vest like just a much bigger unlock? Because that was our first introduction to like,
Yeah,
hitting biomechanics.
100%.
it's a game changer, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really looking forward to everything we learned from the mocap lab for hitting and the reports we have built out now and everything. But like, we wouldn't be where we are now without K-Vest.
Yeah.
Like the understanding that we have of biomechanics on the hitting side, especially relative to the
Yeah.
rest of the industry, I think is like second to none. And that it was a result of just like spending a ton of time with K-Vest, like over and over and every day with so many different hitters. It's like we'll do athlete meetings, and like you could just pull up the K-Vest graph like on the spot in the place, and I'm just gonna tell you like exactly what's wrong with the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like looking at a K-Vest report. It's like, all right, I see this. I know I have a pretty good idea what your swing profile is going to look like on
Yeah.
blast. Like, pretty good idea of how you're going to hit the ball, and like pretty good idea if things are going to clean up these like X, Y, and Z from K-Vest, like these
Yeah.
deficiencies. Like, we're gonna be able to fix this in like a week,
Yeah.
pretty easily. Yeah.
You guys, I remember there was a time where somebody showed you a spray chart of batted balls, and then you were probably like, "Yeah, his K-Vest report probably looks like this. Like,
Yeah, it
this
probably
is
looks like
what we do."
this. It's like, I bet your attack angle is something like this.
Yeah.
Your connections
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like having it all mapped out in your guys' brains, and like,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
It's like,
I got a
bet
drill
this
for you
drill-
too. Yeah,
Bet doing step backs with the long bet down
Yeah.
the mound with your helmet on backwards is going to fix that tomorrow.
with the weighted helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's like one of the coolest things. I mean, we use so many different pieces of tech and stuff. And like we use, like in a hitter meeting, we're going over their batted ball report, like their swing characteristics or their blast report, their biomechanics, the K-Vest, they have video and stuff. But like you could just give any one of our hitting trainers just their batted ball report or just their blast report, and like haven't even visually seen their swing, and they could tell you what their mechanics probably look like and what's
Pretty
going
good
on in
idea.
it.
Yeah. I mean, that's how when we first started out on like, pitching biomechanics stuff, it was basically the same. Like I felt like we got to a point, even with the limited info we had in the earliest versions of the pitching report, that it was just like, if you gave me the values of like 10 to 15 POIs and I never saw video, it's like I could already have in my head, I was like, I could see how you were throwing.
I bet it looks something like this.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
You
I've
need
seen
to do
this.
this
yeah.
drill to clean
Yep.
up your arm action. I
Yep.
bet your arm action's fucked because of this.
Yep. I've seen this, this archetype, multiple times before, kind of a thing. Yeah, for sure. Just being able to like map those. I feel like too, there was almost like a swing back to where then it made like video analysis way easier after that too.
Yeah,
right.
100%.
Like getting a feel for all of those, because you're almost playing this like game in your head where you're seeing the numbers and you're doing what I was talking about, which is where you're like trying to build this like mental model of how they're probably moving, and then when you see it in video, it just like reinforces it or
Yeah,
kind
you're
of
like,
like
boom.
tweaks that a bit.
Okay,
You
it's
know?
like, all right, I've seen
Yeah.
this before. I know to do this.
Yeah,
drill.
yeah,
Like, you're gonna
yeah.
swing this.
Yeah,
These cues are gonna help.
exactly. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I think it was Brady maybe who pointed out to me, but like Jags just does a crazy good job at that, where he can just see things in video and infer like biomechanics really well, but it's not like, obviously, yes, part of it is like it's a Jags thing, but it's also just the amount of, data and things that he's looked at over times, and just like all the conversations and rabbit holes that we've gone down to where it just gets like easy.
Exactly what he was talking about in the
Yeah.
athlete meetings.
Yeah.
It's like you just like watch a guy take a couple swings. You're like, all right, I know in your upper body angles graph, you're gonna have late torso rotation on K-vest, and it's gonna be because of like X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
And you pull up the graph, and you're like, boom, there it is. Like you're getting like peak hip torso separation too late, and then like torso rotation's late. Now your back pass fucked, and like that's why you can't pull the ball in the air.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Like all the data and measurement and analysis on the back end kind of like calibrates you guys is like just understanding of the swing and your ability to use it.
Just makes it easier to know what to look
there.
for, and it just makes coaching easier.
Yeah,
I think that's like the most underrated part about it, and what a lot of people don't understand when they first start coaching or like start like maybe like getting over that hump of really like using data or measuring anything. It's like at first you're going to become less reliant on your eyes because you can just measure it, but then it's like as you do that more, like it just makes your eyes better.
Oh,
You become more confident too
Yeah,
in your
100%.
like evaluations.
yeah.
Like there's so many times with stuff on the floor, it's just like I immediately see it and I can know what their like K-vest or whatever would tell me. Might work on it with the guy, but then like I might still go back and double check myself, you know, just to make sure I wasn't wrong. But that being wrong is happening way less often.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's because we've talked about this a lot, actually, so this might be very redundant, but the last couple of episodes, because I've been thinking about it more and more, why, like, it's not even like the access or the way that we work with the data. It's that the way our coaches and people that work here are able to leverage it just accelerates the learning curve like crazy. Because no matter what, if you take two coaches and like one of them is at, some other school, team, facility or whatever, and one of them is here, each of them, when they're working with an athlete, are going to go through this moment of what we're talking about, trying to build out this like mental model of mechanics and what they're doing. But the problem is that the other coach, it's all just theory. They don't have any objective data to either like back it up or say like, oh yeah, that's a trash idea. You're like way wrong there.
What they're doing is working.
Yeah. Or like, oh, hey, you're onto something. Other people, in this data set are seeing that. Like it's all just like theoretical, and you can kind of like chase down these rabbit holes that if you have access to the data that we have on a day-to-day, right? It's like you start to have these theories or anecdotes in your head, that you're kind of like building out as you're working with people or coaching players. And right away, you can just go back to your desk and pull up like an internal tool or dash and be like, okay, is this happening elsewhere? And then, see like, oh yeah, I was wrong. That was just like maybe a one-off anecdote and I missed it or something. Or, oh shit, there's something here. And it just like reinforces it, for the better. Right. So, cause I feel like coaching, you're constantly doing this sort of like taking in all this subjective and qualitative information and trying to put it together. And the thing that we have is we just have all the quantitative stuff to back it up and be able to say like, yeah, you're right. Keep going in that direction. And then you're just able to become a much, better and better coach on top of that. It just like accelerates that learning curve. It's why too, I think, regardless of coaching staff turnover that we have, people coming and going. I mean, I was talking to you about it the other day with, like hitting intern stuff. It's like, dude, honestly, at this point, like you can't, it's hard for me to imagine us choosing someone who's wrong because we can just bring them in and like give them access to our stuff. And if they have the right mentality around like learning or coaching in general, like they're just going to take off.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter where they are right now.
Like looking for a type of person with like a high care factor.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
you're going to work hard, you care about getting athletes better.
Yep.
Here's a bunch of resources. You're going to learn a bunch and you're going to be really fucking good at coaching.
100%. Yeah. And like even way back, like in the past, in the early days, I remember there were moments where we were talking about like candidates and bringing on, coaches and people who are trying to get positions. And some of the conversations were like, oh, well, like, I mean, this guy doesn't know how to read a biomechanics report or he wouldn't know how to do this. And it's like, yeah, there's like 3 people in the world that do, right? Like, and that doesn't matter. Like we just need to bring them in, give them the tools and like onboarding materials and turn them into that person.
Right.
Like that's how I think we've kind of like flipped the script somewhat on that sort of like evaluation and onboarding, and it's really, really like switch things up. Because I mean, we get new faces in here on the skill side quite a bit, and I'm just like constantly surprised by them to the point now where I'm just not surprised anymore. You know, where it's like,
So
I see someone,
a new guy, you're gonna be really fucking good in 2 months.
I don't know who you are. You probably have no idea about any of these metrics or biomechanics or whatever. But like 3 weeks from now, you could probably be trusted with just like coaching incredibly high level players and just making them better because it fits into our system because we just like refined that.
Isn't that pretty like ironic though? It's like back then. Has it been long enough for you to say back in the day?
Fuck, I hope not. I'm only 27.
Yeah. So back then, it's like we wanted, or we were looking for more of like the built out resume, you know, the better candidates. And now it's like, especially the hitting side is established enough now, like we're getting like pretty high level of candidates and guys, and we're like passing up on some because like one of the other candidates showed us the people person part that we want.
Yeah.
You know, like they communicate well. We know they're going to work hard. They showed some intelligence, and there's a really high care factor. And then we're just like, we'll teach you everything else.
Yeah.
You know,
100%. Or, and like, to kind of go even further, because the way that I've been thinking on the sports science side too is it's not even like that I'm looking to, you know, teach them a system or a way we do things. It's more so just like, here are our resources, and you figure out, you know, how to best deploy it. Like I think that's the most like sandboxy approach, which allows for continued development in the system and all that. Because, you know, one of the things that early on, and I think we talked about this too, was like when we were trying to get the pitching biomechanics stuff like really dialed down, one of my big fears was like it turning into this telephone game of something that like I had said or Jigs or Sam from back in the day when it came to like pitching biomechanics and that approach. And early on, we were kind of treating it like that, where it's like we knew a lot of stuff. Someone new comes in, we're going to teach them, hey, this is how we think, you know? And I think we were talking about this at the hitting biomechanics roundtable the other day, where it's so much more effective for, you know, it's not like, I don't want to go into those roundtables or meeting discussions that we have and be like, hey, here's how you guys should think about the swing. You know, it's more so like, here are the tools and resources. Now you guys, you know, show me, show us, show everyone how to best like leverage them and just make someone better.
Right.
You know, because I think you do. I think that's a problem that a lot of other places fall into, is that like they adopt a system or a model or something, and it's just like, this is it, you know, and they kind of commit to that, where we still have like quite a bit of, you know, we let our coaches just like leverage the data how they kind of need, I guess, right?
Yeah, and I think that part of that too is like you said, like adapt a system or a model, and like to me it just sounds like they think they got it figured out, you know.
Yeah.
That's one of the beautiful things here, is just like most departments are taking the mindset of like, we might know a lot more than we used to, but we're a long way from having it figured out.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, there's just no like, oh, we got it figured out, like we beat baseball.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we're always open to learning new, even if it's something that we've like if in 2 weeks we had like the data and everything, the good reasoning that show like bat speed isn't good. It's like we'd probably actually pivot, you know? Whereas like a lot of people would probably just like stick with what they've been preaching forever.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, we're just like never satisfied type thing with that, which I think is like, so huge there for sure. For sure.
The whole having some like objective piece of data that's not the outcome is so nice. I'm gonna, even from like an athlete perspective.
Oh, especially in a game like baseball.
I was at the driving range.
Why are you looking at me like that?
I was at the driving range with Tanner on Sunday.
He was hitting bombs.
No, I was doing the opposite. But it's just like, it's so hard when you're only like, feedback is the outcomes, like how the golf ball's flying or how the baseball's flying, or how, like, I guess eventually you'll get there or whatever, but it's just becomes so much more quick when you're able to like, you have something that you know works, that you know is going to get you moving better and get that you can actually like change, you know, you can actually change what you're doing to get it, as opposed to just having to go through. That's the whole thing with the ecological approach, dude. It's just like, ideally, there's one approach where ideally everybody, you just like give them some feedback and then they'll like self-organize, right? Into the best solution or whatever. It's like, yeah, that probably works in like when time approaches infinity, you know, and you like have like as much time as you need, but having something to like lead you along, whether they're constraints or like other forms of feedback, is really big.
I feel like hitting is a great example of where like it could be a bad thing too, or the what you're saying could really be true on the hitting side, because the constraints and the context of everything that kind of goes into it, you know, like multiple different pitch types, how fast it's moving, the way it's moving, where it is in the zone, right? Like you could for sure, just with the way that baseball is, have those types of moments where trash swing with a trash bat path, but like, you know, a backed up slider in the wrong spot and it's smashed for a double or something.
You just happen to be on time.
And you're just like, oh, like, yeah, I did, you know, that's the right thing there, right? And so you need that like additional, you know, quantitative like movement data to actually, you know, go back to and be like, hey, you know, the outcome was good, but everything that went into it probably isn't going to lead to more of those outcomes or something, right? Yep. And we can figure out a lot of that too. Also, because like, dude, hitting, you can adjust the context of training so much that I feel like you could, you know, really, really bias that. Like pitching is just like, you're on a mound, you're throwing to a thing, you know, you're not like adjusting that all the time. But I think about
hitting
that.
Off a tee.
Yeah. Hitting off the tee. It's like, oh, you could have the best tee swing, the best flip swing, the best, you know, side toss swing. There's so many different forms of it that could just like train habits that are good in that context. I'm not the hitting guy, so I don't know why I'm talking out of my ass.
I was about to say, you're talking about yourself, dude.
Pretty
tee
spot
swing.
on there, man.
Yeah. No, I'll let you guys talk about that. I don't know. Am I talking about it out of my ass there?
No, I mean, I say you're definitely on the right track.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just like, there's so many variables that goes into hitting. And like one of the things that popped in my head when you were kind of talking there is like, dude's like when you said like the slider backs up and you just happen to crush it that one time. It's like we'll have guys come in and it's like, I think they hit the high pitch well, but it's like after we actually go through the assessment, it's like, you just like got to it one time and you think you do. You know, like
got to it one time, really small sample size. And
Hit a fucking bomb or something.
Yeah. It's like your attack angle is 20. You're way up 2 uphill. So like you have a very small window to hit that pitch, and just like you timed it up perfectly once, like you think that you can like you do that well. Whereas like majority of the time you're gonna get out there, like you have that super small window. So it's like we need to train to put you like on plane with that pitch a lot more.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah,
that gets into training based on time of the year again too.
Yeah,
because like you got that guy is like, all right, I want to be able to hit that high pitch. It's like, all right, your bat path is horrendous.
Yeah,
right? Your season starts in 2 weeks. You're never gonna be able to hit that pitch in 2 weeks. So like we just need to like maximize your approach for what you're good at.
Yeah,
like you just need to lay off of that. You need to like hunt. Like the belt is the top of your zone. That's
until
what you're looking for until you get to 2 strikes. But like on the flip side, like you get a guy in the college summer who comes in, it's like, I don't have to play a game until February 17th.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, okay, like your bat path sucks, but you're also 140 pounds.
Yeah.
You need to put on 20 pounds of muscle. So like, we're going to work on getting stronger first, maybe do a little bit of bat path movement stuff, but like focus is to move a little bit faster, go a little bit closer to the fall. Like we're going to start blending bat path, spend a bunch of time all summer teaching you how to train, what matters, like what you need to pay attention to. So like when you leave, you can continue to improve. And since you're on the advantage plan, if you're on the advantage plan, we can just like monitor everything every single day. And then in the winter, since you're on the advantage plan, you're just going to come back in gym for another couple of weeks.
Yeah.
This time we can like heavily focus on cleaning up bat path and your approach. And then you go into your season and you're dialed.
Yeah. No, that's fire.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Goddamn.
That's a beautiful story.
Yeah. It should. Yeah. The
advantage plan.
That just makes me think about the context and constraints of hitting.
It's hard.
I feel like, we've talked about it so much. Well, and it's
hard.
I feel like it's so much, it's like more subject to a lot of other things that can push you the right way or the wrong way pretty drastically. Like, I mean, we were kind of talking about like recency bias stuff there, how hitting just with the, you know, you get a lot less opportunities in a weekend and only a certain amount of at bats. And if you have just one where, yeah, you like lace that high pitch, maybe just like connected, you know, but you might really just latch onto that, you know, and every time
and then you start hunting the high pitch because you think that's the pitch you're going to be able to
or anytime you're in a slump and you think your swing's busted, it's like that's the video you're going back to, like, oh, what was I doing, you know, when I did that, right? Yeah, it's crazy.
I think like the perfect example, kind of to go in deeper off the bat path or like the attacking one there, kind of like were you talking about like you have that like one situation where like it performs well, so it's like you almost master hitting front toss or flips. So it's like the pitch is coming in on your flips at like a negative 15 to like 20, something like that, the descent angle of it. So it's like having an attack angle of 15 to 20 is like perfect. You know, it's like you master that by hitting balls really hard in the air, like you're hitting nothing but doubles and home runs in front toss.
Yeah.
But then you go to a game and the average fastball comes in at a negative 6.
Yeah.
So it's coming in at a negative 6, but you're swinging up at 15 to 20.
Yeah.
You're like looking at your game swing, like, what am I doing different in the game than I am in flips?
It looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
Once I hit.
Yeah. But I'm crushing front toss.
That's another one of the things talking about how our training is developed over the years and all the tech we've used.
Yeah.
Like in the beginning, like I said, we had hit tracks and bat speed trainers, and we just knew that if you hit the ball hard, that's good.
Yeah.
Did a bunch of exit velo testing off front toss. Like we still use machines and all that, but like we didn't have blast. We knew nothing about bat path, like what your attack angle should look like. Didn't even think about approach angle of the pitch. So like we had a bunch of guys that got like really, really good at training in our environment, and then they went to play games and it didn't translate.
Yeah.
And we didn't know why. And then like as we started getting more technology, we started to understand bat path with blast. Like I said, we got into KVS. We started to understand like, okay, this is why your bat moves the way it moves. Like you move this way. Like we change this things. Your bat path is cleaner. All of a sudden, your ball profile is better because like you have your bat's in the zone forever. Like margin for error goes way up. And now like when you're off time, you can still be successful.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is also the perfect example, kind of what we talked about earlier with the lab being a game changer. Is like blast, like we're looking at attack angle, but that's like it's one moment in time. It's contact.
Created?
Exactly. How's it created? And like I can't tell you how many guys too. It's like, you know, they'll have an attack angle of like 10 degrees, and it's almost like they check that box of like technical box. Okay, average is in a good spot, but it's like
like
if you look at it
like this one little window.
Yeah, exactly. If you look at it on video,
the other time.
Yeah, you look at it on video, it's not like they're like maintaining a good bat path for like a long time through the zone. It's like they're like steep in, and then like they're at an okay point around contact, and then it's like steep back out, which is just like easier to get away with in an easier environment too, and becomes more of an issue in game. But like now in the lab, we can actually look at through like all that time and space, what was their attack angle? We can look at it at different points at a time.
Yeah.
So
there's a weird, it's kind of, there's just like like an inverse relationship between the amount of data points. At least this is how I've been thinking about it as of late too, is like there's based on the amount of data points that you have, if you have a fuck ton of them, like I have no problem shrinking my sample size all the way down to 0 or all the way down to 1, right? Like if I have access to biomechanics data and I can look at the time series data throughout the whole entire throw, like I'm fine with just looking at the outcome data of just one pitch or something.
Just because you have so much context.
Yeah, I can piece together to try to understand it. Whereas on the flip side, like if you have limited amounts of data points, then, you know, I want to see way more, right? The example on pitching is, you know, you could do it just by like pitch physics or even just velocity, right? Like we've talked about it a bit more too, where we don't want to necessarily focus as much on just like the top velos, right? We want to see like averages because it's just like one data point. There's so much more that goes into it, kind of a thing. But because I remember early on we were talking about the biomechanics stuff, and it's like, how many throws do we need to see change or whatever? And I've talked to other people about this, but like I'm comfortable just looking at one pitch. Like, I'm fine. That's how you moved in that moment. It's high fidelity data. I have every single data point that I have access to, and we can just go, in depth on that one thing. But for something like Blast or even KVest or those other technologies where it's just one data point at a single point in time, I mean, you wouldn't just come in and swing once and just be like, oh, well,
Change me.
It was a 6 attack angle. I guess that's my attack angle, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's so much more that kind of goes into it. On that sense, yeah. The lab is unlocking a lot of that for sure.
Yeah, and in that one time that your attacking it was 6, it's like, okay, well, was that good relative to the pitch too?
Yeah,
You know? Like, what was the pitch doing?
That's the other thing too that makes hitting. I mean, we've talked about that a bunch. Just how hard it is trying to factor in all the other components that just goes into it. Yeah. All right, we just went on a huge, basically like a podcast episode's worth of asides there. What did you guys want to talk about? What were we? What's on that list that we need to talk about?
I mean,
Honestly, had no agenda, man.
That's the best agenda.
Just happy to be here.
That's the best.
code good to learn. Good to learn 25. We got Smash Balls releasing.
You guys want to plug the Smash?
Let's
Factor
talk a little
Ball?
bit about
Yeah.
Smash Factor
Yeah,
Ball.
we gotta get that in there, right?
All
Is it
right,
coming out on
we
Monday?
got our Smash Factor Balls pre-sale is launching next week. Smash Factor Balls are essentially the hitting plyo for the pitching machine.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Pretty excited about that.
So what is it? Explain that.
Sell me a Smash Factor Ball.
So you
Yeah.
Smash Factor Ball.
30 seconds.
How's your bat path? Probably pretty good off the tee.
Yeah.
You hit pretty well on front toss.
Yeah.
What happens when you get off the machine?
Oh, I suck off the machine.
Is that because your bat path is bad?
Yeah. I mean, the ball doesn't move when it's on a tee. It's
Do
pretty
you
easy.
want immediate contact quality and bat path feedback at a higher velocity, more game-like environment?
That would be nice.
Then you would really like Smash Factor Balls.
So
Yeah,
what's the difference, like baseball versus Smash Factor Ball?
So it's same size ball, Smash Factor Ball. It's 3 ounces, made of like a foamy, rubbery, spongy material.
Yeah.
So like flight out of a pitching machine is going to be like the pitch physics is going to be a little exaggerated.
Yeah.
Like fastballs are going to rise a little bit, breaking balls are going to break pretty extreme. But since the ball is pretty forgiving, it's just like a hitting plyo, right? Like squishy, not nearly as squishy,
Yeah.
but you have to be much more precise with the barrel, right? Like if you're cutting underneath it all, since the ball is like rubbery, it's just going to balloon straight up in the air.
Yeah.
Same thing with hitting plyo. Like if you cut over the top of it, it's going to snap hook really fucking hard. So like I said, it's just like you get immediate bat to ball feedback like you do with the hitting plyo, but
Yeah.
you can just use it out of a pitching machine.
Now you get it at the similar context, speed wise. Okay.
Yeah. So like in the past, like we've thrown BP with hitting plyos,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not
kind of tough.
sustainable. You
Yeah.
know, it's not good for the elbow. That's why this guy's shoulders
That does
still
look weird.
fucked up.
Yeah.
It was messed up before that. I think it actually helped it.
It might have.
Arm care, bro.
Well, yeah, we're-
not just for pitchers.
We're getting ready to launch those next week. We got a blog coming out, got a bunch of videos, bunch of content lined up.
Hell yeah.
Pretty excited about it.
So is it the number one tool for bat to ball?
Yeah,
Or
probably
one of them?
Yeah,
They paired great with a skinny bat.
yeah.
Oh, that's like
It's cruel.
uber hard mode.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Skinny bat
Do you
and
guys
Smash Factor
Do
Ball.
you guys have like a range of difficulties there? Like if somebody comes in and has a really bad path or something, or is like a lower level hitter, do you guys start them out with like just the balls, and then once they like level up
yeah.
or whatever, like skinny bat with the smash balls?
Yeah, we'll start to mix that into programming as guys get more advanced. And like it got to the point we've been using me and Jim since last summer is when we really started prototyping them, testing them out. But it got to the point in the pro off season that with our better hitters, we basically would bang doing front toss for their drill work, and we would just do all of their drill work off of like a short distance machine with the Smash Factor balls.
Yeah.
Like 1, it's more difficult. 2, it gets them like closer to like matching actual pitch plane they're going to see in the game. So it's just like a bunch of different constraints that in theory should have like a higher rate of transfer to the game.
Yeah.
Because it's more task specific.
Is that like peak difficulty mode of hitting is like skinny bat, Smash Factor Ball, and then like random pitch mix?
Yeah, we actually
Definitely
did.
up there. Yeah.
Like
in,
what?
in
What?
AZ
high
one
velo?
time we did it. We did mixed pitch on the Aydt pitch with it with the smash balls with some of the
Oh,
big league
wow.
guys.
That? Yeah, I'm
It
trying to
was
think.
miserable.
Yeah,
Well, that one time it was coming in like 105 too, or something like that. Yeah, which like those guys are just different level. Like obviously we wouldn't do that with like high school, college guys. But
yeah. What is like the like the through the fire and flames, of hitting,
Guitar
of
Hero
hitting
reference?
Yeah.
Man, it's just got to be like a mixed pitch
Yeah.
sequence on the Aydt pitch with the smash factor balls
And
set
skinny
to
bat.
like with the skinny bat set to like a 95 mile an
Yeah.
hour pitcher.
Oh my god.
It's like you're never gonna hit anything.
Yeah.
alternating skinny bat and short bat.
Oh yeah.
You can get real weird with it.
You
Also-
accomplish that. That's just like you're going
Yeah.
viral
Yeah.
on YouTube.
One of the
like-
fun parts is that if you square it up, they go super fucking fast, right?
yeah, that's the
like they
thing,
can hit them like over. I mean,
And it's also rewarding too. Yeah, it's nice.
When you do hit it flush, the feeling is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I've hit balls on hit tracks like 113,
Yeah.
and it's like not even close to how hard I've ever hit a ball with baseball.
Dude, I'm down.
that's
Yeah,
cool.
let's run it back hitting
Yeah.
training and let's just only do that.
Yeah.
Just, you know.
you could try them on us. We could be the guinea. Oh,
So yeah, it's,
You've already had
it's
guinea
pretty
pig.
frustrating until you flush one, and you're like, oh, hitting's actually
Got a
kind
little
of
bit
fun.
of-
yeah.
A little bit of dopamine from
There you
that.
go, put you in the fire and flames right after this, and then you add like the clip to the video on the podcast.
Yeah.
As we
That's
talk
good.
about, it's like in the corner. It's just you like
Yeah.
lifting over and over.
Yeah.
Dude, that's what's kind of I don't know if there is like something to that for like pitching.
It's got to be some command thing, right? Like hit this
Yeah.
tiny ass target with like.
Yeah, it'd be like some
Still
sort of
throwing that
like
hard
median
like a
miss
certain velo.
distance
Yeah.
with a stuff plus over like a certain
Yeah.
threshold.
Mhm.
Maybe
Big league balls, no tack.
maybe some kind of like constraint for like swapping out the balls and sizes every now and then. But no, I mean honestly on the pitching side it's probably just like striking out the best hitter that there is. Like
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
I can't think of the training
Do
environment.
you guys still use hitting plyos?
Oh, yeah.
Or is it?
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah, it's still
in mini hitting
absolutely.
plyos?
Yeah.
it's basically like a progression. It's like you use like
It's like through the fire
Fires.
and flames on like the intermediate difficulty before
Uh-huh.
you
yeah.
You're
like-
basically just like adding in more.
Yeah.
of 'em.
Yeah. So like we still use plyos for like front toss and like short overhand.
Mm-hmm.
And then like once we go back to like machine, that's when the smash balls start getting used all the time.
Yeah, we're basically at the point like we still do some tee work in our programming.
Yeah.
But like we're basically at the point like if you're hitting off the tee, you're hitting a plyo ball.
Mm.
Just because like it's gonna force you a little bit more to have like a little cleaner bat path. You can't cheat like cutting down through balls.
Yeah.
So you gotta be a little bit more precise. And then we use a ton of hitting plyos in front toss, all that
Yeah.
stuff.
The most underrated part about smash balls is guys that don't like hitting machines will hit machines because of smash balls. So if you get jammed, you cap one, and like that, you don't like feel it at all.
Yeah,
Whereas,
because some
like-
guys hate the machine.
Oh yeah,
Especially
I hate the machine.
you
for
run
that
into
reason
that
right
thing,
there.
Yeah.
You run into that a lot with pros,
Mhm.
right? Like one because it fucking hurts to hit a ball off the end or get jammed with a wood bat off high velocity on the machine. But two, bats are expensive. You start breaking bats in training,
Yeah.
you're gonna like your training's immediately gonna get worse. You're gonna start babying your swings. You're afraid to move the bat fast, and it's just like you don't have any of those problems with the smash factor balls.
That's how I felt when we were doing the sticky bat stuff. I was like, this is
It's like you hit one ball wrong
Yeah.
and you're fucked for the
this
rest of the
quickly
day.
got to the point where I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, we're all
Like,
sitting there just like, when's this round gonna be over?
We're
Like
trying-
trying to
yeah.
make contact one more time
Yeah.
so I can get out of the
Like
cage.
we've had
We're just
plenty
yelling,
of days
"Fuck," after every
with
time.
our pro guys, big leaguers, whatever, where they're doing like a one-on-one session and like hit a ball off their hands, and then like 4 or 5 swings later they do it again. They're like, "Fuck, I'm done. I'm done."
Yeah,
For the day. Like my
yeah.
hand is torched.
We're chalked.
Like I can't make it worse for tomorrow because
That's
I need to
tight.
be able to train the rest of the week. And it's just like you got a guy that's rehabbing or is not used to hitting off the machine or hasn't done it in months for whatever reason. It's just like it's an easy way to get them to train in like the higher speed environment
Yeah,
and actually let it eat a little bit.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
fucking sick.
for Listella, I didn't use baseballs out of the machine for like a month.
Just
we
Oh,
only
had,
those.
shit.
we had
Yeah.
just nothing but smash factor balls because like one of our biggest focus was bat speed, and so like for him, he was great at like letting it eat and like training at higher intensities off like tee and front toss and like overhand toss.
Yeah.
Just an
And
elite
then-
bat to ball hitter in general.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
off the chart bat to ball grade.
Yeah, but then that governor would come back on off the machine. So, but with smash
Trying to
balls, it
book up
didn't
my
happen.
hands.
Exactly. So
a
like,
lot of times it's subconscious.
Yeah.
right? Like you just
Oh,
like,
for
"All right,
sure.
sorry, I'm gonna slow down a little
I could
bit.
totally see that. Yeah.
yeah, and so like one, it was great for bat speed, but also like it was great for movement as well, because he would always like push really hard, and like couldn't really hit the inside pitch very well because of it, unless he caught it like super far out front.
Yeah.
So he like really had to learn to like let his hands go last and like turn his torso more, like his hip and torso, and like trust that movement. And like a lot of the adaptations that really helped that were gonna be like exaggerated inside pitch or like offset angles, stuff like that. And so like he would crush it on front toss and overhand with those. But then it's like once you get to those higher speeds, that like movement hasn't stabilized as much. It's harder to trust that.
Yeah.
But like with smash balls, like he could trust that movement and not have like the risk of like just like getting blown up.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. That's fucking sick. Damn. All right, I'm sold. I'll buy some.
It's seriously gotten to the point where like I just don't want to ever train a hitter again without him.
Yeah. Goddamn. It's
That's
good.
good,
Plug.
guys. That's good, guys.
I think we got to end it there.
Yeah. We probably got to wrap. I think we've been going for a while. Good to have you guys on.
Closing thoughts? Anything?
Thanks for having me on.
When's part 2?
Fuck yeah. Oh, part 2 already?
Yeah.
All right, we'll try to get it.
We didn't get it anything.
We didn't
That's on
talk.
the
We
agenda.
just
Yeah, that's
talked
true.
about a
That's
fungal
true.
valve game for a half hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll try to sneak part 2 in there soon.
That video is still on YouTube. I can find the link. If you
Oh, yeah.
So let me know. Slide in my
go.
DMs.
Reviral it.
Yeah.
Let's go. All right, episode 84.
I'll quote tweet the podcast episode with that video when I find it.
Oh, there
go.
we go. Let's
There
go.
we go.
All right, peace everybody.
We'll be right back.